Let me just refresh my channel real quick. Just make sure it's up. There it is, there it is. Okay, good stuff. Can I edit the thumbnail? I can. Ooh, I can. And I uploaded the wrong picture, I think. Okay, there we go. Hey, there we go. I can see the chat on the screen there. What's up, guys? How has everyone's week been so far? I'm actually really happy I can pick the thumbnail on this. I'm streaming this off my PlayStation 5, and I had like no idea you could change the thumbnail for the streams from this until like just now. So it means I should have a nice fancy looking custom thumbnail on here. So amazing. That's good to hear. Been alright, how about yours? Yeah, no, it's been okay. I've just kind of been existing at the minute. Like, I haven't really done much for my week so far. I've kind of just been sitting around playing Minecraft, if being honest with you. Adventure Time can wait, Krusty is live. So true, but that show is amazing. I saw you tweeting about that, Toasted. Bun Bun is, like, genuinely such a good episode. And, like, I think the only Lloyd Harumi storyline I'd accept in the show at this point is if they could write one that's, like, half that good. Like, they address, like, Finn's kind of abusive tendencies in, like, such a natural and, like, satisfying way there. And especially after, like, how much of a depressed idiot let's say he was in Season 6, it's just such a satisfying episode. And that's not me speaking out of disdain for Season 6 either. I absolutely love Season 6 of Adventure Time. I really think Adventure Time is, like, the best show they've ever done on Cartoon Network. Like, I love regular show, I love Ninjago, but Adventure Time just hits so different. That show was immaculate. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. I've decided today I'm going to start a new Minecraft world, and I figured I may as well stream the start of that, because that would make good background footage for talking about Ninjago and other things that will come up on the stream. What about Clarence, aka Peak? Okay, true. That show is peak, but Adventure Time is better, I'm sorry. Like, I love Clarence. I've always been a Clarence shooter. Even when, like, everyone hated that show for a while, I have absolutely loved Clarence. That show is amazing. But Adventure Time is just the best. I'm gonna get a little stone mine going here. Have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? I have not, but I've been keeping up, or vaguely keeping up, by that I mean just seeing stuff about it on my Twitter feed for the live action show, and it looks like awful. Like, literally whenever the producers open their mouth for it, they're just like, hey, here's how we've ruined, like, X or Y storyline. And I'm just seeing, like, everyone going, like, no. Clarence hate was so forced. True. You know what else was so forced? Uncle Grandpa hate. Uncle Grandpa was, like, an amazing show. Like everyone... I've seen, like, a bunch of people on Twitter all the time going, like, oh, they don't make cartoons like they did back in the day anymore, when it's all, like, random and zany. And, like, that is literally Uncle Grandpa. Like, Uncle Grandpa is so good. I loved that show as a kid. Like, literally, all the guy did was say good morning and be a bro to people. And they hated him for it. And it was messed up. Pretty insane that they gave us 3 new waves of ninja suits this year. That's true, actually. We have had... on top of that, we've also had, like, minifigure variants for the ninja. Like, on top of getting 3 separate lines of ninja suits, Lloyd also had his Master Lloyd minifigure. I'm keeping an open mind, but it raised concern with the OG creators left over creative differences over Netflix. So, like, half the stuff I see is, like, them mentioning stuff was, like, that's, like, essential parts of the show's original story, like, one of the characters being sexist, I can't remember their name, and being like, oh, we toned that down for modern audiences, as if, like, the entire point of that is that the character's, like, a sexist dickhead and shouldn't be doing that. Like, It'd be like releasing like the Star Wars prequels nowadays and being like, oh, Anakin murdering the younglings just really doesn't jive with a modern audience. We're gonna cut that. Clarence and Uncle Grandpa rarely aired on CN where I live, and that's a crime. I remember sitting there on like watching my TV the day Clarence like premiered. I remember thinking it was gonna suck because I don't know why. I was a stupid kid. I always looked at stuff and went like, oh, that's gonna suck. Like I remember I did it with Ninjago. I did it with the Lego Movie. I did it with Clarence. I did it with literally everything for some reason. And then I watch it for like, and I would watch it for like 2 seconds and be like, wow, that was amazing. Like I remember, with Ninjago, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's really stupid. Where's the other Lego things outside of just the characters? And then I watched like one episode of it, and I was like, wow, okay, this is my only personality trait now. Are you gonna hop on the Ninjago SMP later today? Probably not. I am planning on doing more streams than there, but I'm streaming this off my PS5, and if I wanted to switch to that, I'd have to switch to streaming off my PC. And one, I just kind of don't want to play on mouse and keyboard at the minute. And two, that would require me to like switch devices, and that'd just be a huge nightmare. Especially mid-stream. I'd have to like end the stream and start a new one. Oh my god. Dude, that... I've never heard the sounds of a baby drowned until just now, so that genuinely made me like jump out of my skin. That was actually terrifying. That was genuinely so scary. I can't believe I got jump scared by a baby zombie. That's embarrassing. Is it weird I got into Ninjago for the movie? It got redesigned for audience like me at the time. Not really. The entire like point of the movie on Lego's End was to bring new people into Ninjago. So hearing that it succeeded at its goal isn't really like too weird to me. Because like from a business perspective, that was like the entire reason they made that movie. You know, to like sell Ninjago to new audiences. Now I'm here spending my college money on Plastic Ninja. That is so real. See, I would be... Oh my god, these drowns need to go away. I would be spending more money on Ninjago sets. I just... Like, I have the money for them. I just can't justify the space. That's the thing for me. Like, basically all of my space for leisure stuff is either a shelf in my wardrobe that, like, obviously you don't see because it's in my wardrobe, or I have this, like, IKEA bookcase in my room. And, like, I've used pretty much all of my Lego space on that for, the mech sets that came out this year. So basically all of my Lego space is now used up again. So I don't really have the option of buying more sets at the minute. Yeah. Oh my god, look at how much armor I got there. Dude, I'm like actually like kitted out now from killing one zombie. It's quite funny. Are you planning to beat the dragon or just planning to run around mindlessly? I mean, I'll probably beat the dragon at some point, but I'm just kind of like trying to build and stuff. Even if I love the redesigns, I'll still never understand the reason they did it. If someone gets introduced to the show, they wouldn't start season 8. Yeah, no. The redesigns are very much a bad decision. Like, I'm glad they did them. I think the redesigns are like better designs than the originals, but it is like a genuinely really dumb decision because like the thing is, the designs were there to differentiate the movie characters from the show, right? When you look at them immediately, you go, okay, Lloyd with black eyes is the show timeline, Lloyd with green eyes is the movie timeline, which seems like simple enough, but then when the ninja who have redesigned to differentiate themselves from the show are now looking like the movie, it raises a whole bunch of questions. Like, I remember the first thing I thought when I saw the redesigns was like, ooh, is this the movie timeline now? Are we abandoning the show canon? What's going on here? And I imagine if like someone who'd been watching the show for years was confused about that, I imagine a random person who's trying to get into the show after they like the movie are probably going to be even more confused. Because, yeah. Yeah, Kai's redesign is a big L. No, Kai's redesign was a win. His old design was kind of poopy, I'll be for real. Like, his hair just looked like, I don't know, like the show model for it just looked like really bad, I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, the old design was iconic, I'll say that much, but I don't think it was particularly good. What are your thoughts on Raz having the potential to be one of the greatest villains in the show? Yeah, I think he absolutely could be. Like, so far what we've seen of him has been, like, really well written and presented. Like, the voice acting especially is, like, insane. Like, I remember Brian Drummond, I think, is the guy playing him. His, voicing on Raz is, like, so good. How it's, like, one, how he just growls between, like, random lines of dialogue. Like, that in of itself is so cool. Like, he just growls like an animal because, like, he is an animal. And also how, like, all of his lines kind of have, like, a growly, like, rough quality to them. Makes it feel like it's not just like, oh, a guy is talking and then they intersperse growl sound effects in. It's, you know, it's like a tiger has grown legs and is talking about his plans to conquer the world. And I think it's a really cool voice performance. I think Brian Drummond is like unironically delivering like an all-timer performance with that guy. Moru cooler. Now Moru is cool, but I don't know. I think if Raz is well written, he will absolutely stomp Moru. I'll be for real. If they made the new one look a little more like the old one, they may have had that iconic charm. Well, that is what they did. The movie Kai hair is actually like way longer than the show hair. And Tommy Andreasen specifically tried to make sure that Kai's hair in the show was shorter than the movie one. So technically, none of the movie hair pieces for Kai we've ever gotten have been show accurate because they have been like considerably longer. And Tommy Andreasen saw like how long the movie hair was and he was like, yeah, I hate that. Can we please shorten that? And Lego seemed to agree to go through with that. So yeah, they technically already did that. Someone in the chat saying typical Moru fan. I love how just being a fan of Moru has like a really like bad reputation to it because of like TikTok. Crazy how a walking, talking tiger is more intimidating than the Overlord. Yeah, I don't think the Overlord works particularly well as a villain, and I'm going to make a video about this at some point because it's a topic I want to talk about, but I know I myself have said, like, just having a kill count in the story doesn't make a story, like, good or well written, but I really think the Overlord's biggest problem as a character is that he doesn't kill people. Like, it is really hard to sell me on this, like, all-powerful, like, eternal, darkness-fueled conquering force that has brought Ninjago to its knees so many times, when, you know, his kill count isn't as big as a teenage girl. Like, The like for like how like powerful and like, you know, daunting and menacing the Overlord is supposed to be, he really hasn't done anything. Like, he corrupted the Great Devourer, and that's basically it. Like, compare it, like, in, like, literally one episode, Harumi takes more from the ninja than the Overlord has across his 3 seasons. And I think that's the big problem. Like, pure evil characters work when they're intimidating. Right? Like, pure evil characters don't work when they're not intimidating. Like, if you don't want to kill off characters, you need to give me another reason to care about your villain. You can't just go, oh, he's evil and he fails all the time, right? That's kind of not enough for me. Like, hell, even Kalmar, for example. Kalmar's like relatively personalityless, but like what carries him is when he like murders his father in cold blood on screen. It's like, oh my god, that actually just happened. This guy is unhinged. Like a random incel fish prince has done more bad things than the Overlord. And like that's the thing. Like say Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom, he doesn't even need a kill count because he has like an actual personality and motivations outside of being evil. But even then, what makes him a part of hell? Okay, here's a good comparison. In Breath of the Wild, the central villain of that game is called Calamity Ganon, and he is just an embodiment of hatred and evil that reincarnates every few thousand years after a long period of dormancy. Does that sound familiar? Is this ringing any bells? So, Calamity Ganon as a villain is not interesting in the slightest, right? What made Calamity Ganon interesting is that in the game's backstory, he murdered all of Link's friends and made Hyrule hell for 100 years, right? That's what made his character interesting. In the spin-off game, Age of Calamity, they also had Calamity Ganon as the main villain, but it takes place in like an alternate timeline where Calamity Ganon didn't beat the heroes and like kill all of Link's friends. And when you stripped away that element of Calamity Ganon, he just wasn't interesting at all because there was nothing there. Like when your personality as pure evil character isn't taking things from the heroes and like actually doing like things that impact the story, there's kind of just nothing there. Like the Overlord is a cool design and that's it. That's it really. He's a cool design and like voice performance, and that's basically all the character is going for him. And I plan to like articulate that better in a video at some point, but I feel like if any character from Ninjago should have killed more people, it is the Overlord. Like if any character in Ninjago would have benefited from stuff they did do in like earlier seasons, it would have been the Overlord. And like that's not just like a crystallized problem for me. Like this also happened in season 2 and 3. Like the closest we got to the Overlord actually taking something from the characters was Zane. And then he just came back like the episode later. I think the Overlord with his Crystal King form is pretty intimidating. Yeah, no, the design's cool, but it has the same problem where it's like, it's very hard to sell me on this like evil, all-encompassing conqueror when he does nothing, you know? I disagree, as he practically did nothing. Harumi did all the work. Now, I think that's fine. Having him be like a conniving manipulator who sits back and like tricks all the other characters into doing everything for him, that's fine. That is a cool characteristic, and I think Crystallize portrayed that well. But like, again, it's so hard to sell me on this pure evil, like ultimate final boss for Ninjago, threatening like conquering like maniac when he does nothing. Like in like a single episode, Harumi did more damage, like more like impactful to us damage than like basically Ninjago Satan, you know? Was that a crystallized compliment? Yes, it was. I think mostly the Overlord is portrayed faithfully and done about as well as he was in the prior seasons, which, like, make of that what you will, you know? Like, yeah, no, the Overlord, I think his problem is that they should have done more with him. The Overlord, yeah, exactly. The Overlord and Fugidove, a literal joke villain, have the same kill count. And again, this isn't me saying, oh, darkness and killing people equals good story, because that's not true at all. There is like plenty of stories that have tons of death and like suck. But it's just hard to sell me on the Overlord as a character when like he does nothing and takes nothing from the heroes. Like when the 16-year-old girl with no powers is more capable of causing destruction, death, and pain than Ninjago Satan is, you've kind of messed up at writing Ninjago Satan, in my opinion. And I think if they bring the Overlord back, they've got to work on making him actually intimidating. Why is it letting me eat the apples when I have full hunger? Like, I literally just wasted an apple there. Zane had a larger kill count than the Overlord. Yes, yeah, literally. Like, in one episode of Season 11, Zane has done more bad things than, again, Ninjago Satan across 3 seasons. It's like the rule of you can't have your main villain lose too many fights or else they're not threatening. Yeah, exactly. The Overlord is literally just empty threats. Oh, yo, there's a village there. There's a village there. You guys see that just over there? You know what? He did do something. Break Lloyd's leg. Oh, my bad. Yeah, he's terrifying then. Dude broke Lloyd's leg and it healed like an episode later. Oh, I love Season 2. Any guesses on Zeatrix's power? I'm not sure. I think the more interesting question is Zeatrix alive? Because I have no idea if she's... Like, everyone's like, oh, when's Zeatrix going to return? But I'm not sure if Zeatrix is even alive. Because, like, Zeatrix, like, when she's, like, talking about what she did to her father, I'm pretty sure she goes, like, my father and my sister, which implies she murked her as well at some point. Which would make sense because we never see her in the present day. So I'm not sure what's happening with her. If LEGO decided to remake the entirety of Ninjago Seasons 1 and 2, what changes would you like to be made? I would not like changes to be made at all. I would like an animation increase if they had to remake them, and that's about it. Like, I think they're fine as is, they can just keep existing. If I were to rewrite them, that'd be like a whole different thing, but I don't think a LEGO rewrite should exist, LEGO remake should exist outright. Like, you know, they're out. Redo the final battle. Yeah, no, if I were to redo Season 2, I would redo the final battle, and I would make the Overlord... I don't know, I'd make him kill someone. Some major character has to die to the Overlord, I think. It doesn't have to be, like, one of the ninja. It could be, like, you know, a different major character that's just from that season. But, yeah, I think he should, like, take someone's life, you know? Wu? Well, no, not Wu. I don't know. I mean, if I was writing it with the intent of ending the show, then, yeah, I'd probably have Wu bite the dust to the Overlord, but... Wu got a bunch of cool stuff after Season 2. I don't want him to die then. Like, Wu still had a ton of room for as a character back then. It's not like with Crystallized where it's like, okay, you've literally done everything you can with this character, please just get rid of him. Also, make the evil citizens matter. True. That should be a thing. Bigger scales for the final battle, less messing around in the first few episodes. Isn't it weird that Crystallized in Season 2, that statement can apply to both of them? Like, I just realized that now, like, the kind of complaint of, oh, you wasted too much time doing random stuff and not enough, like, ending the show can be applied to, like, both of the Overlord series finales they did. That being said, I think the Season 2 final battle is paced, like, a lot better than the Crystallized one. So that complaint doesn't apply as much, but you can very much make the argument that it does. Is Dragon's Rising Season 2 out? No, not yet. It is coming out, I believe, April 4th. I know it's coming out April, I can tell you that for sure, but I think I heard it's coming April 4th. Sure do love a love triangle at my Ninjago season. Oh god, do not remind me of the rebooted love triangle, man. I feel like I am more defensive of that plotline than most, right? Like, I think it's not as bad as people say, but that's not to say that it's not bad, because it is bad. I just think it's, like, less bad than people let on, because, like, you know, at the end of the day, Jay and Cole are, like, dumb teenagers who would, like, I don't know, like, do stupid stuff like that. And plus, I think part of my view on the love triangle is helped by the fact that like season 4 clutched and like fixed a lot of the problems of it. I want to love a love triangle purely to see the community's reaction. Oh god, no. We've had enough shipping drama, Toasted. This community has had enough shipping arguments. Just like, please give us peace. Like when is it gonna be enough, dude? We did the Harumi thing last year. Oh, the cat sound effect in Minecraft is really cute. I just heard like a kitten sound effect in the game. It's just like a little meow. I think that's quite cute. I love JX Cole. I'm indifferent on that ship. I think Kai and Cole is a pretty cool ship, but as for Jay and Cole, I'm just kind of indifferent on that one. I don't like have a problem with it or anything. I was just a bit indifferent on it. I want Kai to be Kai, not poop. Well, Kai has been not poop for a while now. Like, the only reason Kai has been poop isn't because of, like, mischaracterization, but because he's sat around and done nothing. But he's, like, a really active player, and I think highlight of Ninjago's story at the minute. So I think Kai is doing fine. I want to see Lloyd back so bad. Me too. I don't know how they can even bring it in at this point, because, like, I feel like the ship for it is kind of sailed, sadly. But I would... If they can bring it back in Dragon's Rising, I'd love to see that, because that's, like, the definitive Lloyd ship, in my opinion. Kayak Lloyd? Okay, no, yeah, that's bait. That is a pretty terrible ship. And you could make the argument it's like outright weird and yeah. I think you guys know what I'm letting on here. I'm gonna kick this villager out of his bed and sleep in it. Like there are people shipping the Gecko dude from DR with Cole for some reason. Diamond Core. The name of that ship is Geode. Are you aware that I am the person who named that ship? I am like the Cole and Geo #1 truther, I think. I think that would be a really good ship if they went through with that. Like there is definitely something there, dude. Like their episode consists of Cole saying how much he needs him and like them holding hands and stuff. There is definitely an undertone there. Like there is no world where there is not at least an implication of romance there. Like you have to be literally watching the show with like your eyes closed and your ears plugged not to take away at least some implication of romance. But yeah, I think Geo is a really cool character. He's a lot of fun. I think his power is sick. His power is so cool. But yeah, my approach to shipping is I kind of like to stick with what's canon, but I don't like get annoyed with LGBT ships. I think they're completely fine, and I would love to see one canonized at some point down the line. I'm done, Krusty. Can we stop with the LGBT ships? No, I think they're cool. I think we should keep doing them. I don't see why specifically LGBT ships is where a lot of people draw the line, given... Especially with Ninjago, like, how many, like, really crappy, like, relationships are, like, written into this show. Like... I don't know, if you want to complain about, like, ships in Ninjago, I'd complain about, like... Especially, like, dude, Kai and Skylar, for example. That ship is absolute dog water. Like, I'm gonna be for real. That ship sucks. And it just feels like it's there so Kai can have a girlfriend more than, like, actually being there for a reason. And what's so funny about Kyla is like Crystallized had the opportunity to fix it, right? They labeled that they laid out all of the flaws with that ship on the table, right? Every like they knew why that ship sucked and then just doubled down on all the problems. Like there was that whole bit at the end where they're like, oh, let's talk about our relationship when this is all over, and they just never talk about it, and it's in the exact same status quo that it was before the season started. It's so funny. Like, what I think is so funny about Kyler as a ship isn't that it sucks, it's that the creators of the show knew why it sucks, said why it sucks in the show, and then did nothing to address it. And I think that is, like, hilarious. Kyler is so badly written, and I'm hoping that, that it phases out. I mean, I wouldn't mind it being phased out, because I don't really have an attachment to the ship. If they do phase it out, they should give Kai a boyfriend to make people mad. I think that'd be funny. Plus, Kai was a creep. True. Do you guys know about the Wild Brain animators on that clip? Like, one of the Wild Brain animators, the Reddit account, I think it's called, Nikosai, I want to say. I think that's the name. Someone mentioned that clip and they commented on it because, like, this account, we know it's a Wild Brain animator because before the season came out, this person foreshadowed the Wu and Asphera pancake flipping scene, so we know they're, like, a legit Wild Brain animator, right? And they said that the Wild Brain team just hated that scene. Like, they literally asked the Ninjago writers if they could tone down, like, how much of a creepy weirdo Kai is, and they just said, like, no. So they kind of just, like, were like, oh, well, we're just going to play into it and make him look creepy then, because he's being creepy, but still, I just think it's so funny that, like, the Ninjago writers were told the animation team absolutely hates this scene and thinks it's creepy, and they were just like, okay, we don't care, animate it. Which is one thing, but what I think is even funnier is that, like, in the writer's room, I remember Tommy mentioning that he wanted to do a serious Ice Emperor story. The other writers didn't want to write a serious story like that, so he yielded and let them write a more comedically centered Ice Emperor story. So it's funny. I just think it's funny that they were willing to compromise on something like that, but not the Kai thing. That's what I think is funny. Dude, look at that floating island there. Do you guys see that? Oh, let me get closer to that. That looks so cool. Season 6 and Season 15 when they need to send good messages to children. Look at this thing. Me when I see gay people in my Lego show. Tommy was tired after keeping the 11-minute era together. Real. But yeah, no, I think gay ships are fine. I'm thoroughly in support of them. I would love to see one canonized someday, even if it's just to annoy people, but beyond that, it's just literally no reason not to. Look at this, like, terrain generation here. This is sick. If I had to answer the questions of Ninjago fans all day, I'd probably go insane and create a crystallized too. By the way, have you all seen the non-binary character on Dragon's Rising Part 2? Yeah, I think I saw that. See, I don't really care for stuff like that too much because, like, I don't know. It's just, like, it's cool that it's there, don't get me wrong. But, like, it just seems like kind of a half step being like, okay, well, if you zoom in really close to this frame, we are actually representing people. And it's like, I don't know, why can't you just, like, you know, go all the way with it? And I get why the answer is, obviously, it's like censors and, like, you know, countries that, like, aren't really too big on that being annoying. But still. I just wish Ninjago would go all the way with it at this point, beyond just having, like, random flags in the background. I wish censorship wasn't a thing so we could have more than just flags. Exactly, that's like my take, exactly. But yeah, circling all the way back, Geode is a really cool ship, and I hope it's canon. Dude, look at this floating island here. Oh my god, there's iron there. Oh my god, no, I'm not going over here. Look at all those mobs, dude. I'm dead. I'm dead. You not learn your lesson about floating islands and forests. True. There's not really many good caves near me. Someone left because of the gay talk. That's really funny. People talking about asexual Cole in the chat, and I think that'd be chill. If I do want Cole to get together with any character in the show, it'd be Geo. Otherwise, just keep him with no one, because that's also a pretty interesting direction for the characters to go in. I'm fine with either of those options. You know what I think is really funny? There are two separate, awful Ninjago ships that are both called Konya. Like, I only noticed this the other day, but I think that's pretty funny. Wait, which ones? Cole and Nia and Cole and Vanya. Which Cole and Vanya, isn't, as bad as Cole and Nia. Or maybe Cole and Nia, I don't know. I don't like either. I don't think either of them are very good. Especially when people act like Cole and Vanya are like a canon thing. That's what particularly annoys me. It's liking it is just, liking it is just like a, liking a non-canon thing I'm fine with. But, when people start saying, oh no, Cole's with Vanya, that's already canon. It's like, no, it's not. Doc Wyatt is literally, the guy who wrote those episodes with them in has literally said they aren't a thing. Vanya is one of the boys. Exactly. I just see Vanya as a young teenage fan to Cole. Yeah, that's the big thing. I just think it'd be kind of really weird if Cole, hooked up with a fan. I don't know if I like that. By the way, the Masako and Cole thing in Crystallize is funny as hell. That is true. That was so funny. They couldn't just have the whole group talk. All of them had to go to their partners, except Cole, who just went towards, a old woman. There's also stated in the show that Cole said he didn't see her that way. Exactly, and yeah. But no, apparently they're a canon thing. Which again, if you want to ship as a non-canon thing, I don't particularly like the ship, but it's whatever, you can do you, but I just think it's annoying when people act like they're confirmed canon. The chat just said call us into DILFs. God damn it. I can't justify calling Vanya because of the age gap. Now, in fairness, the ages are made vague. I'm not sure how much of a gap there is between Cole and Vanya, but it's not looking good for that ship. Even if you want to ignore the ages, Cole hooking up with her on the premise that she's been a lifelong fan of him just creates a kind of weird power dynamic there. I'm not sure if I vibe with that. Yeah, I was gonna say Mustard Mountain does a good job at shutting down that ship. Kosaku, yeah, that's the dude. Can we get that to become an actual thing? Can we just ironically post Kosaku a bunch until it becomes a recognized ship? I think that would be really funny. I'm gonna tweet that right now. And I'm not gonna check my notifications until the end of the stream. I just gotta pull up a frame of them talking. Do you have a Discord server, by the way, or are you thinking of making one? See, that's funny, because literally earlier today, I tweeted out that I'm thinking of making a new Discord server. Literally not like a few hours ago, because I used to have one, but when I kind of fell out of Ninjago after Crystallized, like during that kind of March, like 2023 period, around like this time last year, I have like I figured I've pulled out of YouTube, I've pulled out of Ninjago community Twitter. Why am I running a Ninjago Discord? And I handed it off to one of my friends. But now I'm like into Ninjago and probably not getting out of it for a hot minute. I think it might be time to start a new Ninjago server. So if that's something that interests you all, I can do it. Alright, I just tweeted Kosaku for life, and now I'm gonna close my Twitter tab, and I'm gonna come back to it after the stream is over. Krusty, don't jinx it. True. But yeah, I figure if I got through the whole crystallized thing, it's gonna take a lot to get me out of Ninjago. Like the one thing I've been saying for years, the only thing that would make me stop watching Ninjago is if they brought back Harumi and gave her a redemption arc. And then they did it, and I haven't got out of Ninjago. So I think I'm gonna keep watching this show just indefinitely now. Masako would rather talk to Cole than her husband, who she hasn't seen in over a year. Garmadon's gotta step it up. Real. See, oh god, that's another thing I didn't like about that season. Garmadon and Masako literally do not talk once. Literally one interaction is all you need to do. I remember in season 8 and 10 and 9, they would occasionally just intersperse in Garmadon and Masako interactions, and I thought they were really cool. Like when they reunite in the monastery and like she's like trying to be all tender with him and Garmadon's just like, yeah, that's just not me anymore. Like that's a really cool scene. And then after they've reunited after all of this stuff has happened and they've been apart for so long, just nothing comes of it. They never talk once. Like Masako never even acknowledges the existence of Garmadon, and I think it's wild. Like, imagine seeing your resurrected zombie husband for the first time in 2 years and not having talked for probably more something along the lines of like 2.5 years and just not talking to him once. That is insane. That's not me like having a go at the character of Masako, by the way. That's just me saying that. Like why would you not have them talk? Masako's too busy with me. That's out of pocket as hell. I'm pinning that. That is so funny. Cannot wait for my boy's new comic. Masako is also too busy with me, except it's Coco. Okay, it's on normal difficulty. Good. The pin of shame. No, that is not a pin of shame. That is a pin of pride. Because that is a funny-ass message. That is a pride pin right there. Okay, we've got an actual cave here. Let's see if we can find any desirable minerals. Except copper. We're ignoring copper because that sucks. It does nothing. I saw a suggestion from someone saying copper should make powered rails instead of gold, and I think that would be like an amazing change. And I don't know why they haven't done that, because that would make copper make like so much more sense in like, the game's sandbox. So that's where Masako was season 11 to 12. Krusty, you're from the UK, right? Do you like the NFL? I have no knowledge of the NFL. I don't know like American sports, let alone like my own country's sports. Like, the only thing I know about sports is, like, Cristiano Ronaldo is a footballer, and Wayne Rooney, and that's, like, basically it. And that England, like, never wins the World Cup. Do you think Garmadon and Harumi will appear in Season 2 and have important roles? Okay, maybe Garmadon will, but Harumi, I highly doubt she's showing up this early. Like, I would be absolutely shocked if Harumi showed up this season. What's your theory for season 2? I don't know. I think Raz's master will be a Source Dragon, although I'm not sure if Ryu's going to be a Source Dragon, given like his new color scheme is like exactly like one of the Source Dragon symbols from season 1. So I'm really not sure what to expect going into season 2, and I think that's probably a good thing because it means I won't like have any bloated expectations. Which I think is a good thing at the end of the day. I don't know when YouTube let me change the thumbnails for these streams, and I think it's pretty cool. But what's weird is it doesn't let me change the thumbnail for the live stream, but like as soon as it like becomes like a video playback, it will change the thumbnail, which is the real good thing, because when it's just a live stream, it's whatever. But when it's in like part of the live stream archive, I think it's nice to have the different thumbnails to like differentiate them. Is this multiplayer? No. I might open the world up to be multiplayer sometime, but this is probably just going to stay as a single player world. Is there nothing else in this cave? Dude, that's so lame. I want some iron, man. Is there, like, any iron anywhere? Ooh. Ooh, does it keep going? Does it keep going? No. But there is coal. I'll take some of that. I can't say no to more coal. It's always useful to have. Master Wu's ghost is going to lead coal to Misako. I've suddenly got, like, really tempted to check the tweet that I posted about Cole Saku, but I promised I'm not going to do it to the end of the stream, and I'm going to stick to that. Alright, I'm gonna pitch an Ninjago ship to you guys, and you guys are gonna tell me what you think of it. And I need to know that this is a safe space here, and I'm not gonna get judged for this. Aaron and Jordana. Discuss. Who do you prefer, Skull Sorcerer or Kalmar? Easily Skull Sorcerer, dude. I'm excited to see what you guys think of my bold idea here. Who? I love the who joke about Jordana. That's so good. Jordana is just kind of bland. Well, because she hasn't really appeared much in the show. Like, she's going to be a big thing in Season 2. She's going to get more characterization then. Next, please. Okay, you guys are not interested in that. You guys don't see the vision. If it's written right, then it could absolutely work. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Aaron X random person. See, I think it could work. I think it could work. I see my own vision. Hello, Foxy. Kayaks Wildfire, get out. Aaron X Jordana, ew. Come on. You guys can't tell me there's not potential there. Like, you guys... Like, there's got to be a good story somewhere in that ship. I'm gonna drop like the old enemies to lovers trope. It will go hard. It will go really raw. Then at the end, you can have him go, "It's okay, she's of us," but it like would be like not awful, because at least I think Jordana isn't like abusive. As long as Aaron doesn't get with Sora, I'm fine. See, if they built up to it well enough, I wouldn't mind Aaron and Sora being a thing. But the Ninjago writers would have to really earn that ship. Like, I'd be okay with it if it was done well, but they would have to do it really well to sell me on it. I love how this stream is just the dedicated crusty ship stream discussion stream. Hope is the only thing the merge didn't take from Aaron, including his hope to be of Jordana. Exactly. It's too early for an Aaron love story. Is it though? Is it? Jay got his love story like 5 episodes after he was introduced. Who is Jordana? I love how that's just like a community-wide joke, just acting like you don't know who Jordana is. Actually, wait, who am I talking about again? I can't remember. Oh, this is pretty high up, so more iron should spawn up here. Mr. Frohickey X Guard Bug. Change title to ship or sink. Oh, that could go really hard as a video. Is that like a thing people have already coined before, or can I like steal that and use it for a video title? Because I think that'd be really cool for like a video talking about Ninjago shipping. So is basically the idea to do the Lloyd X Harumi thing, but make it way better than that ship? Yeah, kind of. Like, the core issue with Lloyd and Harumi and Crystallized is it's just not, like, an enemies to lovers thing like that just doesn't fit their character, like, at all. Like, that, like, those characters and their history, it just doesn't work. But if you had a dynamic, like, vaguely, like, oh, no, I do not want to die, I do not want to die. I don't want to die. I've got so much iron on me, dude. Okay. But yeah, like an enemies to lovers thing with Aaron, provided they don't like, you know, mess it up somehow because Ninjago could totally do that. They literally did before. It could be cool. Ninjago shipping video, you're gonna have to turn off the comments, exactly. Harumi should not be redeemed in my opinion, I agree. Especially after she doubled down on Crystallized. Maybe throw in this 3 AM ship idea I have, which I'm honestly not sure about. Aaron X Boldfire. See, I don't see it. I don't think it's like a murder-worthy opinion, but I don't see it personally. I think Harumi's redemption maybe could have worked if you jumped straight off of Haunted, right? I don't think she should ever be redeemed because, you know, her whole story was about, like, how she gave away every opportunity she could to change her mind until it was too late, and then she, like, went down with her ship, and it was, like, a really, like, tragic story where it's like, oh, this could have been so easily prevented, but it wasn't because, like, she was so full of hatred. So bringing her back and redeeming her kind of diminishes her whole character arc, right? But if they were gonna naturally do it, having her double down and like make quips about murdering people wasn't like before doing it wasn't the way to go about that. At least I don't think. Kalmar X Scrollworm 3. What is he? What are these? I like look at my screen to mine coal for 2 seconds. I look back and I see these those random ass ships. Speaking of ships, wasn't there a month who just legit wanted to date Jay? Yeah, dude, that episode sucked. I love Master of the Mountain, right? But that episode sucked. Krusty, are you still in school or college? Don't feel forced to tell, just wondering because school is so slow for this week, bro. No, I'm out of school. I finished up with school around when Crystallized Part 1 came out. Like, literally, like, balancing making videos for that and, like, studying for my exams was, like, an absolute nightmare. But, yeah, no, I think my last day was 6th of June, I believe. 6th of June, yeah, because that's the day of my last exam. Yeah, since then I've kind of just been going between jobs, and at the minute I'm just kind of trying to see if I can make YouTube work as like an actual career. Because I think if it could, that would be like awesome, you know. Master of the Mountain is one of my favorite seasons, but the Queen months kind of ruined it for me. Well, I mean, like I don't think it's like a season ruining problem, but like I remember whenever I show people that season, they give me like the weirdest look when that episode comes on, and I'm just like, yeah, no, this episode sucks. I won't even sugarcoat it. Just sit through it, and we'll get to the good stuff in a bit. Like Like, I feel secondhand embarrassment when I show people that episode, you know? Emerald. Yeah, I'm not mining that. I'm going to just leave that be. Because it's only going to drop like 1 emerald. I'm going to come back later with probably a silk touch pickaxe. You have pets? Yeah, I have so many pets, dude. I'm going to list them all now. I have a golden retriever called Alfie. And then I have 4 cats, right? And I'm going to explain the cat lore to you now and why I have so many cats. So, our first cat is called Stanley, and he was the first of them we got. And we got him in, like, May, I think, of 2019. And then in, around the same time, 2021, we got a female cat called Fifi. And we didn't, neuter or spay either of them, right? So, they ended up having kittens. And the plan was to keep one and sell the rest. Because, we can't handle, like, that many kittens. But they only ended up having 2 kittens, right? So we figured at that point it'd be really weird to, like, just sell one of them and keep the other. When it's, like, just 2 cats. It'd be really weird to just, like, separate the siblings for no reason. So we thought we'll just keep them both. And those two are 2 girls called Hilda and Badger. So yeah, there is a lot of cats in my house. But I also got a dog as well. The crusty pet lore is insane, dude. Crusty should increase his sensitivity settings. Now, I like it like this. I don't like Minecraft when, like, the sensitivity is too high. It just makes it feel, like, really clunky for me. Like, I only really, bother with having high sense on the first-person shooters like Halo. Which even then I don't like the sensitivity too high because I just can't really, I can't really keep my cursor on the thing. It just feels too, like, abrupt and, like janky. Bro, Shell Red is still pinned. Yeah, that's a goated comment. If any of you have a funnier comment, I'll pin it. But until then, that comment stays. Then they destroy the middle crystal and see, I don't think Harumi mind control would be a good plot point. Like, it would definitely be better than what we got, but I still don't think it'd be particularly good. Like, if I were writing Crystallize and had to bring back Harumi, I think I already said this in a video, but I think it'd be really interesting if they just, like, had a double down on all of her actions and ultimately not be redeemed. Because, like, it'd be stupidly tragic if she came back after all of that and still learned nothing. It would, like, diminish her story in Season 7 a bit, granted, but, like, anything other than keeping Harumi dead does that. Like, that cat is already out of the bag. So, yeah, I think that could have been an interesting direction to take Harumi in. And I don't think mind control would have been the way, because just, like, diminishing, like, her whole character's agency just because, oh, we need her to be evil again is kind of weird. Harumi just dying after the Overlord's defeat would be funny as hell, actually. Speaking of mind control, the other month, I had this one person comment on, I can't remember if it was a Harumi video or the Crystallized review, but this person was, like, dead convinced that, like, everything I was saying about Harumi was lying and that she was mind controlled. Because her eyes glowed one time in episode 14. And, like, they literally had this whole comment thread, like, oh no, she's mind controlled by the Overlord, he's influencing her, and it's just like, okay, then why did she turn on him? Why did she constantly disobey his orders? That's like not the characteristics of someone under mind control. Just have it be less about Harumi and breaking Lloyd's dependence on her. Yeah, exactly. Like, that scene from Spider-Man PS4, if they did that with Lloyd and Harumi, that would be like a top 5 Ninjago scene. What was the point of the glowing eyes in that episode? I have no clue, dude. I have no clue. If I were to run a guess, right? If I were to make a hypothetical guess of what was happening in that episode, the Overlord, like, crystal destruction powers work really similarly to Oni power, right? In the way that they're, like, destruction-based powers that are fueled by anger, right? And what I guess was what happened is that what Lloyd said to Harumi about, like, protecting civilians really struck a nerve with her. And that anger made her power surge for a second. That is what I would guess was what happened, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I have no clue. I have no clue because that season is a mess. Lloyd's only form should have looked like Garmadon in that one episode in Season 10. That would have been really funny, but no. I love Season 10. I will defend every aspect of that season. Literally every aspect of it. But that Garmadon only form design... I mean, story-wise, it makes a lot of sense. But the crystallized designs absolutely clear it. I'll be for real. Yeah, the crystallized designs absolutely wipe it. Even though I see what they're going for, it's like a goofy, like, imitation of the Omega, because that's ultimately what Garmadon was doing, because he's not like the Omega. I get it from a story perspective, but, like, man, that design is just not it. Wait, is the Overlord at all related to the Oni? We have no idea. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Did you hear about the potential of Xbox going third party? Yes, dude, I'm so glad someone asked about that in the stream chat. I'm itching to talk about it. It is wild. It is absolutely wild, and I think it is true. I think it is absolutely true, and I could not be more excited, to be honest. Like, the idea of being able to play Halo on my PlayStation is sick. Because I have an Xbox, right? This isn't me going like, oh, I don't have the console, I can't. Ooh. No, I'm not like port begging or anything like that. Because I have an Xbox. And that Xbox is used for two things. It's used for, like, the occasional, like, Xbox 360 Sonic game. And it's used for Halo Infinite. And I don't really play the Master Chief Collection anymore because my only option for playing it is on the PC, and I don't really play games on the PC that much outside of streaming or, like, Java Minecraft occasionally, right? And, so yeah, I don't want to pay, like, I don't have the online subscription, right? And I don't want to pay for the online subscription for one collection of, like, 10-year-old games. So if they drop it on PlayStation and I can just, like, you know, have all of my, like, big AAA games outside of Nintendo on one box, that'd be amazing. And if they port it to Switch as well, then I am buying 2 copies of the MCC that day. Every platform they drop that game on, I will buy it on there. I don't care, that game is amazing. That collection is amazing, I should say. Xbox joining Sega and Atari. Real, it's so weird. Because, like, Xbox used to be, like, such a successful company, and then they just, like, died, pretty much. Like, they have been on the downward spiral for a long, long time now. Nia should have stayed the ocean. See, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I think it would have been cool if she died forever, but if they did her return in, like, a certain... Like, if they... Like, dude, okay, Call of Home is an amazing episode, right? I'm not even gonna lie, right? Like, that... If every episode of Crystallized was as good, or even half as good as the Call from Home, it would be like a top 5 Ninjago season. If they just stuck to what they had going for a character there, it'd be so good. It's just smarter to put their games for a wider audience and try to keep them exclusive, but then nobody cares about buying the system. Or when nobody cares about buying the system. Yeah, exactly. I think the double whammy of Starfield being mid, and the report that Xbox was outsold by PlayStation 3-1 is what made them just go, screw it. This console industry is just not for us. I think I got a comment earlier about a Season 4 review. I know someone suggested a Season 4 review. Whoever suggested that, I want to get around to all of the seasons someday. By the end of this channel, I want to have all of the seasons reviewed, right? And I want to make like a big compilation video of it. So yeah, I want to review season 4 at some point because that season is amazing. I'd say the Call of Home and the Council of the Crystal King are the 2 best episodes of Crystallized. I think the 2 best episodes of Crystallized are the Call of Home and either Safe Haven or Farewell to Sea. Thoughts on Ninjago coming to Fortnite? It is not happening. From what I understand, it is not happening. Apparently, the files that leaked the other month in the most recent Fortnite patch were removed. Which stinks. Like, I'm not sure if that's actually true. I just heard that from a friend who's, like, really into Fortnite, so I trust him, like, on that basis because he's, like, a huge Fortnite nerd. But from what I hear, I'm not sure if, like, it's, like, coming at a later date or if it's been cancelled or what, but I mean, I did, to be fair, I did warn about this in the video. I did say the you know, Ninjago stuff is in the files, but it could still be cancelled. Plans could change internally, yada, 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 yada. So I'm not like particularly surprised this happened, or if it has happened, because it seems like it has, but it does suck. Fall of the Fetch heartbreaking, yeah, it is a bummer. Like, Ninjago stuff in Fortnite would have been so cool. And it still could happen, yeah. They still could, like, go back on that plan, or maybe it is still in the game and I'm misinformed. They got Dreams, but not Ninjago. I mean, do they? Like, is that, like, I'll be honest, I don't know if Dreams is even in Lego Fortnite, because that game is boring as hell, I'll be for real. Like, I enjoyed it for, like, a few minutes, and that stream I did with Bendo, and that was literally it. That game is so boring, dude. Like, I'll show you why Minecraft is, like, infinitely better than Lego Fortnite right now. Hold on. I'll show you guys. Watch this. Watch this. You see that? You just can't do that on Lego Fortnite. What makes Minecraft so fun is how you can, like, literally pick up the terrain and move it and mold the world. Whereas on Lego Fortnite, you're just, like, building preset, like, Lego structures in an unchangeable world. And it is not, like, dynamic or fun as, like, a sandbox game at all. It just sucks. I want to one day make my own tier list like Krusty, but maybe with a bit of personal bias, because I used to put Skybound at S tier. Possession is still S tier, and there's no convincing me. See, I think you should have personal bias in your tier lists, right? Like, I know, like, being biased kind of has, like, a bad connotation around it, but, like, when it's, like, with a tier list, and the whole, like, premise of a tier list centers around expressing your opinions on something, you kind of want to be biased, because it's supposed to be your opinion. Like, it's not like you can be objective whilst you're presenting your opinion on something, you know, like, having an opinion is inherently subjective. So I think that kind of bias should be leaned into when you're, like, discussing how much you like certain Ninjago seasons. I played Lego Fortnite for, like, 30 minutes, and I was like, so what now? Yeah, same here. I built some preset structures, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Yo, Jack Smith, thank you so much for the €2. I appreciate that a lot. What do you think of the Ultra Dragon being killed? I think it's really, really sad. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool as hell. Like, dude, being introduced to Iron Baron, and the first thing you see is him sitting on the Ultra Dragon's, like, decayed corpse is, like, insane. Like them, like, having, the Ultra Dragon just disappear for 7 seasons, and then having his, like, grand reappearance be his, like, deceased body is, like, one of the most insane Ninjago moments of all time, and I will respect the hell out of it for that. It does such a good job at, like, immediately making you just hate Iron Baron. It's awesome. The fact that the writers confirmed that the ninja didn't know it was the Ultra Dragon makes it all the more depressing. See, I'm not sure if I agree with the writers on there, because literally the first thing the ninja say about Iron Baron, right, is a Kai line where he goes, his throne, I already hate him. The implication that Kai knows is very much there, dude. Like, I get, like, oh, he's sitting on a corpse, that's rough, but, like, come on, man. Come on. The implication is so, like, obviously there. But yeah, I think Ninjago killing off the Ultra Dragon was, like, an insane creative choice, and I really vibe with it. It's a little overly edgy, in all honesty. I mean, yeah, kind of, but, like, by having Iron Baron dispose of one of the ninjas, basically, like, pets in such, like, a brutal and uncaring way, it just, like, immediately establishes, like, who this guy is. It does such a good job at establishing him as this, like, savage conqueror, you know? So it is edgy, but it definitely serves the story. I'm actually not going to put a window on the corner here. I'm just going to have the corners be cobblestone. Do you have any idea what happened to the Falcon? Not a clue. Being edgy isn't a bad thing. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Ninjago could have sustained such an edgy tone throughout its entire lifespan. I think the brand would have died pretty quick if the Oni Trilogy wasn't just like an anomaly, right? But I feel like there's appeal, especially with like Sonic Adventure 2, dude. Like that game's story is like dark as hell. Like not even from like I'm saying this to justify my enjoyment of a kids game. Like no, it's a kids game, but like for like the story material in there and for the demographic it's aiming for, it's like so messed up, and I think that makes it like stupid entertaining. Like having this whole storyline about like government like conspiracies and mass shootings, and like the central character is Sonic the Hedgehog is like unbelievably like hilarious. And I think Ninjago has like a very similar appeal when it gets dark. It's like, oh, you've got this like considerably pretty messed up story, and it's about like Lego ninjas. I always really vibe with that kind of storytelling. Yeah, exactly. Shadow's creator being executed by firing squad after going insane after finding out his daughter died is like one of the most out of pocket like plot developments ever to be told in a kids game, I think. Imagine if Ryu will be murdered by dragon hunters. Well, I mean, they wouldn't be murdered by the season 9 dragon hunters at the least, because they're cool now. They're really chill. This is a pretty nice little house I've got going here. Breaking Bad was great, but The Sopranos has such impressive character writing. I don't know where that came from, but I agree. Breaking Bad is really cool. I've been meaning to watch Sopranos though. I haven't seen it yet. One of my friends really likes it, so I'm gonna watch it at some point. I've just heard really good things about that show, and I want to see it at some point. What do you think of Mustaki being teasers and Oni all the way back in season 4? I think that's sick. I think that's really cool. The Oni plot twist in season 8 and 9 did such a good job at like kind of contextualizing a lot of Ninjago. Because like the direction for Ninjago changed so much after the revival that there was so many just like things that were just like not like big deals at the end of the day. It's just like whatever, you know. But like they did kind of make the story feel more like weird and contradictory at points, right? And just the simple explanation of, oh, Lloyd, Wu, Garmadon, and Mustake are all like really long lifespan Onis was a really cool explanation for it. When was she teased again? When she was like the exact same. Basically, when she appeared in the court that banished the Anacondrae to the Cursed Realm with Wu and Garmadon. Yeah, it's because she helps that decide the Anacondrae's fate. And how she aged basically the exact same way they did. The Oni Trilogy was truly an incredible time for Ninjago. True. Yeah, Oni Trilogy was amazing, dude. I think Dragon's Rising has a very good chance of like hitting those peaks though. I don't think it'll ever be as dark as the Oni Trilogy, but I do think it will be eventually as well written and executed as the Oni Trilogy. And that's the important thing for me. The other thing, Wu gets immortality type depression because of how long he's lived. Well, I mean, yeah, he had that whole storyline in season 13 when he's like, oh, I'm old, this is miserable. Tobu Creamer donated, I'm not sure what currency that is, it says ISK 300. I'm not entirely sure what currency that is, let me look it up real quick. That is Icelandic krona. Thank you so much for that, that's really appreciated. Oh no, I just completely stumbled there. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I've never heard of that currency though. That's a interesting thing. What part of Ninjago actually made your jaw drop? Okay, so in season 8, episode, what was it? It was a Game of Masks, right? When we're finally about to, when we finally realize that Harumi is the quiet one, right? And she's plotting to kill Lloyd. And they have the whole bit with the ambulance. And then the nurse goes well, aren't you the quiet one? And then it slowly fades from her broken, traumatized childhood face to the present day Harumi, which is just completely full of hatred and envy and just anger. Is that just had me on the floor. That was insane. I don't think Ninjago has had a moment that has hit that hard ever. Yeah, it's got to be that. I hope that answered your question. Either that or literally the episode later where Garmadon just absolutely beats the hell out of Lloyd. That also had my jaw on the floor. Basically everything in season 8 and 9 did that. But yeah, I hope that answered your question, and again, thank you so much for the donation. Season 10 is the best of the Oni Trilogy because Garmadon's in it. Or because of Garmadon in it. See, that's valid. Garmadon is amazing in that season, but I think it's got to be season 8 for me. That season just hits so hard. Season 9 is my favourite season of Ninjago, period. That is valid. It was mine at one point as well. See, for me, the Oni Trilogy is my favourite Ninjago thing, but my favourite season from the Oni Trilogy always changes. At one point, I'll say it's season... Why did I take this bed? I have a bed here. At one point, I'll say it's season 9. So other points, I'll say it's season 10. Other points, I'll say it's yeah, I'll just alternate between them because I just can't decide because they're all such amazing seasons. Garmadon isn't really Garmadon in season 8 or 9, which is the point, but I like Garmadon being Garmadon. See, I think he's not Garmadon, but he's still characterized like him. In season 8, yeah, he is kind of just a mindless zombie, I'll grant you that, but season 9 is the process of him coming back to being an actual person, you know? Season 9, he is absolutely Garmadon, you know, he's a huge douchebag, he's a conqueror. He cares about the safety of the world despite all that and wants to make it in his own image. He has, feelings for Lloyd who doesn't properly understand. He's, And for season 9 going on, it's really cool because, he's completely haunted by paranoia of just seeing, unspeakable horrors and when he was dead. And now he, wants to subjugate all of Ninjago to protect them from them if they ever return. And I think it's just a really cool storyline for him. Is this a public server? No. Usually I do play on the public Ninjago server Gravelcraft, which if you guys want to check that out, it's the latest Java version and the IP for it's in the description of my last stream. But this is just a Minecraft Bedrock world I have. I'm probably not going to open this up to public. Garmadon is that guy, true. Out of 10, how hyped are you for Shatter Spin? It's got to be a solid 7 to 8. Dude, I have my issues with the Garmadon comic, right? I know I expressed those in the now unlisted video I did on them because I want to revise my opinions on that because I was insane for calling it mid. I don't know what I was thinking, but Yeah, I do have my issues with it, but I do really like the Garmadon comic all around, so I'm excited to see a follow-up to it. What horrors do you think Garmadon saw in the Departed Realm? Well, he said it pretty outright. He saw the Oni. He saw the Oni and like the full scope of their power and what they plan to do. You called the Garmadon comic mid? Yeah, at one point before the final chapter of it came out, I preemptively made a review calling it like a bit overrated, and I think that was a horrible decision on my part because that comic was really good. And it the final issue puts it into perspective really well. Do you think season 13 is a good season? Hell yeah, dude. I love season 13. I don't think it's as good as some people say, but I think it's good. Yeah, the Garmadon comic was sick. I really liked it. Oh, DD Cope with the $2. Thank you. You think Dragon's Rising could actually kill off an OG ninja? No, I do not think that's going to happen. If Dragon's Rising is going to kill off any of the central team from the original show, it's going to be Wu. If Dragon's Rising is going to permanently get rid of any of those characters, it's going to be Sensei Wu. I would be shocked if they killed an original ninja and stuck with it. Because they had so many opportunities to do that during the original show, and they didn't. So I don't know. I just don't think like something like that is going to happen. I mean, if they do it well, I'll be pretty amazed and like it, but I don't really think it needs to happen at the minute. Like, the reason I kind of wanted something like that to happen in Seabound is because Ninjago needed status quo changes, and I think shaking up the team like that in such a drastic way would have been a good way to go about it, but Ninjago is fine at the minute for status quo. Like, Ninjago is reinventive as hell and is taking the characters into new places, and I really don't think any of them need to die at the minute. But maybe a Lloyd sacrifice in the end. I could see that, but Lloyd is like the face of Ninjago, dude. I do not think that's going to happen. Do you think Season 10 should have been the end of Ninjago? Yes. I think in an ideal world, we would have had Season 10 and then a couple years off of Ninjago, and then they would have came back with Dragon's Rising Season 1. That's like my ideal timeline for Ninjago. But I like the 11-minute seasons still. I think there's a lot to like about them. And I do think Seabound, Master of the Mountain, and Season 11 are pretty good. If the show ended at Season 10, we wouldn't have Dragon's Rising. We would. I can see the argument for Seasons 11 through 14, obviously, because they're part of the original show. But Dragon's Rising, like, when people say, oh, should have Ninjago ended, they're not talking about Dragon's Rising. Or some might be talking about the whole franchise, but when I talk about Ninjago should have ended after the Oni Trilogy, I'm now talking about Ninjago should have ended and Dragon's Rising should have started there, as opposed to Ninjago ended with Crystallized. Because March the Oni is like a way more satisfying finale to that original show. Yeah, I agree. I love seasons 13 and 14, but they were kind of pointless. Yeah, that's kind of my take exactly. Like, those seasons are good. They flesh out some interesting aspects of Ninjago's world, and Cole's character especially is done wonders for with that. But I could have done without them. Like, if they removed all of the 11-minute seasons from like the world, it would suck. Or they like made it so they never happened. I'm not saying Lego should decanonize them, by the way. I'm saying as if we're in an alternate timeline where those never happened, I don't think I would miss them. Ninjago shouldn't have got rid of Garmadon. You can feel his absence in every season he's not in. That's why I think that decision worked. Like, in season 11, you feel like Garmadon has a presence in there because of like the impact he's had on Lloyd. Even if he's not in the season, to me it feels like he is because of how much of like a presence he has in that season. Because of just all of the stuff he's done to Lloyd. And see, I'm not sure they even should have brought Garmadon back and crystallized, if I'm being entirely honest. Like, I've always thought this, but I think Season 10 is, like, the perfect ending for Garmadon as a character, and I don't think they should have brought him back. I don't think bringing him back would have outright ruined the character or anything, don't get me wrong. But I think, especially what they had to offer in place of Garmadon's Season 10 ending, it just wasn't enough. They needed to do more to justify him being there. even if I like him in that season. Krusty, what are you saying? I'm saying Garmadon's ending in season 10 was like near perfect for me. Like him realizing he still cares for Lloyd, going his own way at the end. It's such an amazing contrast because at like the start of the show, he's like completely exiled and forced out of the monastery, but like by the end of it, he realizes he has to go on his own way and like figure out who he is as a person, and like has that same like leaves the monastery by choice rather than being like expulsed from it, and I think that's a really powerful moment. And I don't think that's worth trading off for a kind of mid Garmadon season. Like Garmadon is probably the least bad part of Crystallized, but I would be lying if I said I didn't think Crystallized is Garmadon's worst season. As weird as it is, not all stories need conclusions, and season 10 Garmadon is that. Exactly. Garmadon had like a satisfying conclusion, but it was left very open-ended, you know? And I think that worked for him. Real. Season 10 was such a great ending to set up for a sequel, and it sucks that the 11-minute era is towing the line between new seasons and a reboot and sequel. Exactly. The 11-minute era never knew if it wanted to be just more Ninjago or the sequel to Ninjago. And I remember when all this stuff was initially coming out, Tommy was going, "Oh, season 11? That's not a thing. It's Secrets of the Spinjitzu, and Ninjago is its own thing." And then at some point down the line, it's like, yeah, Crystallized is the end of this show. Well, you could say with Crystallized, he was welcomed back with open arms after being banished in the start. That's true, but I feel like the contrast of him leaving by choice is more powerful. Like, I think him coming back to the monastery is a nice moment, but it doesn't help that the story leading up to it sucks. Like, Lloyd and Garmadon ultimately never mend their relationship in the end. Like, they get closer to it, but Garmadon, like, in like the course of 2 episodes, right? They're like, oh, we'll talk about how we trust each other after we've killed the Overlord. Garmadon then has a huge baby rage about no one trusting him. Immediately after, he breaks Lloyd's trust again by staging his own death. And then that's it. He hands him a plank of wood, and that's the satisfying ending. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. So yeah, well, it could have been a nice moment in theory. In execution, it didn't really work for me. And if they weren't going to bother, you know, actually growing these characters, I don't know why they bothered bringing him back and diminishing that moment. Any 11-minute season could be removed and nothing would change. See, I don't know if I entirely agree with that now. Dragon's Rising did such a good job showing the impact that Seabound had on Kai's character. And how, like, Kai's, like, grief about Nia being in danger and leaving versus Wildfire's worry about, like, losing her family is kind of, like, what those two characters' entire bond is built on. So I'm not sure I can, like, at least in the context of Dragon's Rising, I'm not sure I can say that the Wildbrain seasons were completely useless. In the context of the original show, dude, absolutely. Those seasons were so superfluous. Like, they literally, you could remove them and you like Dragon's Rising, like, not Dragon's Rising, Crystallized versus March of the Oni, they basically end up in the exact same spot, minus Garmadon's at the monastery now. I was willing to call season 11 to 15 non-canon, but in part 2 they make such good callbacks. See, I can never really agree with just thinking something's not canon because I don't like it. Like, no matter how much I don't like Crystallized, that is always going to be canon. Nah, Kai was not done good in terms of dealing what happened with Seabound and DR. No way, come on. That was so good. When Kai uses his like whole experience with Nia as a jumping off point to form a relationship with like Wildfire and like actually be able to like better her life and, you know, help her cope with her problems. I think that was like such a powerful moment. He basically says in the most neutral voice, "Oh, I did meditation," and that's basically the only acknowledgement. But that's such like a surface level reading of it though. Like, Kai like reflecting on his experiences with Nia and how it like improved him as a person at the end of the day is like what makes the dynamic between Kai and Wildfire actually start to go smoothly. So I don't know, that just feels like such an oversimplification of it. I guess, but still it could have been done so much better. I mean, yeah, maybe, but I think it was done fine. Especially because you can't lean into stuff like that too much in Dragon's Rising, because that is not the same show. Like, if a central plot point in Dragon's Rising hinged and referenced the original show too much, it just wouldn't work, because these are different shows. Like, Dragon's Rising, its goal writing should be to reward people who have watched that original show, like they did with that Kai and Wildfire scene, but not to the point where people watching it who didn't watch the original show would be confused, because then why even make a new show in the first place? It kind of completely goes against the point. Alright, I need to go mining for some cobblestone. Why hasn't Dragon's Rising acknowledged Lloyd's dragon ancestry? It did. It didn't outright acknowledge it in the context of being a dragon, which sucks. But it did reference Lloyd's heritage. That's why Shatter Spin is weird to me, since it's relying on the Serpentine War. See, that's not really weird to me, because let me pull up the Shatter Spin cover real quick. Yeah, the thing with Shatter Spin is that Shatter Spin isn't Ninjago Dragon's Rising Shatter Spin. It's just Ninjago. Like, I think what we're doing going forward is that that original show era is kind of carrying on via extended media. Like this vaguely ties into Dragon's Rising, but it's not like a Dragon's Rising tie-in. Like, it kind of sets up elements from it and like teases them, from what I understand, but this is just a Ninjago comic that links to the original show at the end of the day, and I think that's a good thing. Krusty, agree or disagree? Seasons 4 to 6 were peak Ninjago. I gotta disagree. Yeah, Toasted put it pretty well. In terms of the fan base and like the kind of atmosphere surrounding Ninjago, 4 to 6 was probably the peak, but in terms of like the show itself, it is season 8 to 10. Although even then, I don't know. I think 8 to 10 had a better atmosphere as like a fan base than 4 to 6 personally, because like the fan base was just popping off at that time. Like, that was when like David made like the Tanner Fishies rant. There was so much good, like that was when like so much good stop motion stuff was coming out. Like, theories and speculation for the Oni Trilogy were just insane. Would you say Garmadon is the best character? No, I'd say Cole is the best character. I would say Garmadon is Ninjago's best like character if Crystallize didn't happen. But Cole didn't really have an arc in Crystallize, therefore he wins. "2018 Ninjago YouTube drama feels like a fever dream now." Yeah, real, man. I just think it's insane that that was all like, what, like 6 years ago now? Like, it's been so long. Which storyline was better in Season 9? Oni and Dragon plot or Ninjago storyline? It's the Resistance Ninjago storyline for me. That was amazing. Like, I love the first realm plot, but yeah. Do you think young Garmadon should be redesigned to look like Season 8 Lloyd? See, I'd be fine with it, because they kind of already have done that. The Shatter Spin comic cover uses the movie hairpiece for Lloyd, recolored brown, and I'm fine with that. I don't think his eyes should be changed or anything like that, but just changing the hairpiece to be Lloyd's movie hairpiece, I think, is a fine design change. I'm not really too bothered about it, because they're very similar pieces. I'm out of the loop. What's a Shatter Spin? Okay, so Shatter Spin is... Do you remember the Garmadon comic from 2022? Shatter Spin is basically a half sequel to that, but it's set in the past. It's another Garmadon comic, but it's set during the Serpentine War era, and it ties into the Wolf Warrior plotline from season 2. Yeah, Vera, if you check the cover for the Garmadon Shatter Spin comic, you can see he's using the Lloyd movie hairpiece in brown, as opposed to the Anakin hairpiece in brown, or just the Anakin hairpiece. And I think the fact that you didn't notice that until now should tell you that it's not all that bad of a design change. Like, you're like the biggest Garmadon fan, and it took you a week to notice that that change was made. And hell, during the Serpentine War stuff in the original Garmadon comic, I'm pretty sure he has the exact same design with the movie hairpiece. So you could argue it's taken you up to 2 years to notice this. Hang on, let me check. Garmadon comic Serpentine War. Let me Google this and see if he uses the... Oh no, to be fair, in this he doesn't use it. He's just got like a really like wavy hairpiece. Actually, no, this is the movie hairpiece for Lloyd. Yeah, it's like really wavy, so it's hard to notice, but that is the movie hairpiece. So yeah. The point I'm trying to make here is the fact that you didn't notice it means it's not all that like noticeable of a design change, and it's not worth being upset over. So I think that's why I think it looks fine. Changing Garmadon's hairpiece from the show Lloyd hair to the movie Lloyd hair doesn't really bother me because they look like really similar. Alright, what am I doing for a roof? That is the question. Oh, I'll worry about the roof later. I'm just going to move into the house for now. Ninjago core suits should have been the suits for all of Season 1 of DR. No, I gotta disagree with that. I really gotta disagree with that. The Dragons Rising Season 1 suits are way better than the core suits to me. It would bother me from a canon standpoint. Why though? Like, people can have different hair at different points. I'm looking at the flashback scene from issue 4 right now, and it doesn't really look at like anything like any real hairpiece. Let me pull up the panel real quick. God, I hate the Ninjago wiki because all of the pictures are so low quality. But it's the one where he's fighting Lord Mogra, and then he does like the intimidating pose, and you see like the close up of Garmadon's shocked face. It's like really wavy, but that is the movie hairpiece. I wish I could tell you the text so you'd know the specific panel, but this is like the most low quality photo ever, so I don't know. I actually have the comic in hand right now. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, this looks like it. Oh god, I wish I could just pull it up on the stream, but because I'm streaming off my PlayStation 5, I can't pull up the image. Which is unfortunate. So, yeah, I guess you'll just have to take my word for it or disagree. Actually, he looks really pretty with the hairpiece. See? Exactly. You see the vision. I told you it was a good design. I think it looks really nice. Okay, there is a later panel where it's the movie hair. There we go. Yeah, I think it looks fine, personally. And I always think it's nice when Garmadon has the same hairpiece as Lloyd. Like, I remember that was, like, my main issue with the change for the movie hairs. So I'm glad that's kind of been, like, pulled back in line. I'm currently trying to hunt for an Elytra on the Ninjago SMP. Yeah, hunting Elytras is rough because on multiplayer servers. I think there are rumblings of, like, an end reset, but I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. Krusty, can you state your favorite villain / bad guy in the show? Garmadon. It's Garmadon. I just think as a villain, like the amount of different roles Garmadon has had is so cool. No, like, do you think Pi 4 is good too? Yeah, Pi 4 is pretty good. I do like him as a character. Okay, which Garmadon is your favorite? Resurrected Oni Garmadon, seasons 8 to 10. Not the crystallized one, but the resurrected Garmadon from the Oni Trilogy. That's my favorite depiction of the character. Season 3 to 4 is also really nice. See, outside of Crystallized, I really don't think there is a bad interpretation of Garmadon, and even then, Crystallized is just kind of mediocre with Garmadon, which isn't really a particularly good thing you can say about, like, the best part of the season. But yeah, not the point. I think every interpretation of Garmadon throughout Masters of Spinjitzu and the comic is at least good. Krusty, do you like Season 12? I do not like Season 12. What about Season 4? I really like Season 4. What do you think of Movie Garmadon? Movie Garmadon is awesome. It is a wildly different take on the character, but I think he's really fun. And he has a great dynamic with Lloyd. Season 12 was ass if I'm allowed to cuss. Yeah, absolutely. Season 12 was dog water in my opinion. He isn't Garmadon at all. I mean, he is Garmadon. He has the basic aspects of the character. You know, he's like the four-armed warlord who's the dad of Lloyd, who, like, is really into the whole conquering the world thing, but always has that conflict and, like, wanting to go back to his family and living a good life. He has, like, the basic, fundamental aspects of the character there. It's just a really... It's just, like, basically a parody of Garmadon. And I think that's fun. Oh no, I've just fallen into the abyss here. Oh, the new caves are really pretty. Krusty, what about Season 7? I think it's one of the worst Ninjago seasons, but I don't think it's as bad as people say. I have a whole video about it. Yeah. Garmadon's just evil for no reason. Well, he's evil because he wants to take over the world and he likes power and stuff. And Lloyd hates him. Yeah, but Lloyd hates him in the actual show as well at points. And even then, Lloyd doesn't hate him. Like, the whole point there is that, like, Lloyd was only, like, angry and having the outburst he was in the movie because, like, he just wanted to, like, you know, have his father in his life. Like, he literally, at the end, he's like, oh, I didn't, like, say I wish you weren't my father. I wish, like, oh, you were there and whatnot. Yeah, but, like, no venom or anything. True, he wasn't afflicted by the devourer venom. But I still think it hits the core beats of the character. Like, devourer venom or not, the core story is still there of just, oh, Garmadon's a bad person and his son changes him in the end. Like, that core, like, arc is still there, even if it's, like, a very comedic take on it. Have your feelings on Season 11 changed at all? I'm less big on it than I used to be, but I still really like it. I think it's a great season. No, but he was bitten by a snake that was bitten by a spider. The movie being different from the show isn't a good critique in my opinion, because it's non-canon and following the same basic plot of the show would be kind of boring and repetitive. See, I'm mixed, because I agree it's not a good criticism in the context of the movie, but I feel like when you're changing things for an adaptation, you kind of need to make sure the core of whatever story you're telling is still there, right? Like, for example, with like the MCU Spider-Man movies, at least before No Way Home, a bunch of stuff is different there, but you still have the core story of Peter trying to juggle like living a normal life and being a superhero. Like that core struggle is still there and present across Homecoming and Far From Home. Even if he has like the fancy Tony Stark shit, oop, bad word, it's still there, right? And I think that's the important thing. You can change all you want, but the core of the narrative needs to be there. And I think the core of the narrative is there in the movie about Lloyd like coming to reconcile with his father. True, but I think Lloyd and Garmadon's arc is way too different to be called the same characters. Now, I'm not saying they are the same characters. Do not get me wrong. They are undeniably different characters. They are written differently. They act differently. All that, right? But the same basic storyline is there. I like Garmadon, right, in the movie. I think it's a good interpretation of Garmadon as a different spin on the character. If that version of Garmadon appeared in the show, I would not like it because that is not like Garmadon show, but it's a fun spin on the character in a non-canon setting. Do you think the island is a season or a special? The island is a special. The biggest thing saying that is when someone called Seabound season 15 Braggy Shut, because like they were asking a question to Braggy Shut and called Seabound season 15, with obviously the island being season 14 in this person's eyes. Braggy Shut's first response to that was confusion, because season 14 is Seabound. Like obviously you can call it what you want, like it's not a big deal at the end of the day. It's how we label a season of or special of a children's show, but there is way more evidence for the island being a special than there is a season. Oh gosh, I've been calling Crystallized season 16. Yeah, Crystallized is season 15, but it's not like anything wrong with calling it season 16 if that's how you prefer to label it. Okay, I'm gonna leave this staircase for now, and I'm a bit caving. And after this mining trip, I'm going to end the stream, but I'm going to keep it going until we find some diamonds, or either that or clear out this cave. So we have an amethyst geode there, which is really cool. How much longer will we be streaming Krusty? Just until this cave is cleared out, and I get back up to the surface. Or if I die to this creeper. Oh, do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that right there? Let's go. Let's go, dude. And it was... Okay, it was 2, thank God. If it was just 1 diamond, I would have been so mad there. I'm hoping there's enough for a pickaxe here, though. There does not seem to be enough for a pickaxe, lovely. I'm going to mine this redstone when I get a diamond pickaxe. I'm not going to sit here and waste time mining it with an iron. Krusty, what about Kosaku? That is the most goated ship of all time. That is the only Ninjago ship. There is no other ships other than that. Kosaku is peak. Oh yeah, I forgot I tweeted Kosaku forever. I wonder how that tweet's doing. Seeing as the stream's almost ended, we should check it out. We should see some of the responses to that. Let's pull that up. Some retweets. A private quote tweet. Please tell me this is satire. Obviously this is satire. I do not endorse this. Damn. There's one really good reply on here. Only Lloyd is going to crack coal open if he ever hit on his mother. I mean, Ninjago Twitter just isn't ready for the best Ninjago ship of all time, clearly. Krusty, what's your favourite video game? Mine's Breath of the Wild. Mine is either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I can never decide between the two. Thoughts on the Skull Sorcerer, Krusty? He's a great villain. I love the Skull Sorcerer. No, you need to go away, Creeper. Wait, Kosaku is a ship? Yeah, we decided Kosaku is going to be a ship on this stream. Ooh, that guy dropped the bow. Let me get that. Thoughts on Beatrix, and when will you make a villain tier list again, by the way? I want to make one soon. I've just been kind of putting it off because like a tier list video is such a big like undertaking for me. Like it used to be just screen record myself doing a tier list and post it on the internet, whatever. But I have gotten like so perfectionist with those videos now. Like I basically treat them like I would like a season retrospective. So that's a video I want to make this year, but I can't say when it's coming because it's going to take a while to make. Although I think the next big video I'm going to work on is a Prime Empire review. I think that's kind of the plan at the minute. And that could change because my plans constantly change. Like, literally, ask me like what my plans for my YouTube channel are on like Tuesday versus Wednesday, and you will probably get completely different responses. Like, I'm always changing like what I kind of want to do with this thing. But I do want to make a new Season 12 review. Advice for anyone that wants to start making Ninjago YouTube videos. Literally, just do it. Don't, like, make a bunch of, like, elaborate, like, plans in your head. Obviously, it's good to, like, have elaborate plans, but just, like, do it. Don't overthink it too much. Just sit down and make a video. Whatever you want to make, just sit down and make it. Like, I feel like a lot of people get like too caught up in the planning phase of a video and it just never leaves it because of that, because they're like, oh, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be perfect. And it's like, it can be rough around the edges, dude. Like, for example, my Dragon's Rising review, completely unscripted. My Hands of Time review, completely unscripted. Sometimes the best way to make a video is to literally just sit down and do it. And I think that is my biggest bit of advice. Man, it's getting late. Good night, everyone. Good night, Shellred. Thanks for coming on the stream. I'll probably be ending the stream as a whole soon, because I'm getting tired and my throat is getting sore. Was that all for this cave? That is really disappointing. My brother says he hates Dragon's Rising and says it's as bad as Crystallized. Can you convince him he's good? Right. Your best bet for convincing him that Dragon's Rising is good, at least from me, is to show him my video how Dragon's Rising saved Ninjago. Show him that, and then if you want, show him the follow-up video about the Dragon's Rising side characters. But at the very least, if you want me to do a good job explaining to him why Dragon's Rising is good, literally just like link him that video. Alright, we're going to head up to the surface now. I'm going to organize some stuff, get some furnaces going, and then we're going to end the stream. Best weekend whip? That will be the Crystallized whip. As much as I don't like that season had a really good weekend whip. Yeah, I agree. Dragon's Rising saved it after Crystallized. I got to agree. You remember when people were saying Oni Lloyd's... They were saving Oni Lloyd's form for Ninjago United? That is so funny. That was so fun. Like, Ninjago United is just so emblematic of, like, this, like, era where everyone was just, like, snorting copium constantly, and I think it's really funny looking back on it. Because they obviously weren't going to expand on Oni Lloyd and Ninjago United. They obviously weren't going to do like a cool Harumi story in Ninjago United. Yeah, actually, no, they could have done that. That was not so obvious. Ninjago United, yeah, Ninjago United was what Dragon's Rising was being called before it was officially revealed, because Ninjago United was the production like code name they used for Dragon's Rising whilst they were developing it, and it leaked ahead of time. So people just started calling the new Ninjago installment that before Dragon's Rising was officially revealed. What do you think is worse, Hands of Time or Crystallized? Crystallized. Crystallized is like the worst piece of Ninjago media ever for me, and it's like not close. And I get people like it and they have the reasons for it, and that's okay, but for me, it's just always going to be that. I just do not like Crystallized at all. Krusty, I love Ninjago and all, but I feel like the starting songs are cringy. I don't know, I think they're fine. Krusty, do you agree that Sola from the Netherrealm is most likely related to the Mistake? I'm not sure. There's a lot of resemblance, but I'm not sure if that means they're outright related. It could be cool if they were, though. Alright, I think it's time to end the stream because my throat is getting really sore. So, thank you for watching, everyone. This was a fun stream. I've been trying to stream more recently, and I want to keep doing that because I really enjoy streaming for you guys. And hopefully I want to start working on that Prime Empire review soon. So yeah, you guys have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in a future stream or video.